How's it going? Just gonna read out of Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God saw that the light was good, and He separated the light from the darkness. So in the very beginning, God separated light from darkness, what you see. Um, This is actually before he created the sun and the moon. So he is light. Um, Jesus is the light of the world, the creator. And so that light also represents righteousness, doing what's right, while darkness represents sin and wickedness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and there was evening, and there was morning the first day. So notice that the day starts in the evening. That's why the Jews and God's day begins at sundown. It says, and there was evening and there was morning. So evening came first, and then morning and day, the first day. And God said, let there be a vault between the waters to separate water from water. So God made the vault and separated the water under the vault from the water above it. And it was so. God called the vault sky. And there was evening and there was morning the second day. So this vault he made was like the sky and the atmosphere, separating the heavens from the earth. Because so far all we have is an earth, just water on the earth. There's no land yet. He hasn't formed the land. And God said, let the water under the sky be gathered to one place. So here, okay, and let dry ground appear. So here he's making the land dry ground. And it was so. God called the dry ground land, and the gathered waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, let the land produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants and trees on the land that bear fruit with seed in it, according to their various kinds. And it was so. The land produced vegetation, plants bearing seed according to their kinds, and trees bearing fruit with seed in it according to their kinds. And God saw that it was good, and there was evening, and there was morning the third day. And God said, let there be lights in the vault of the sky to separate the day from the night, and let them serve as signs to mark sacred times and days and years. So his moon, which he created to rule over the night, that that basically it demonstrates some of his set times. The crescent moon is also known as the new moon. So when the Jews would first see that, that was the start of the new moon, and they would celebrate a festival. They would actually they would have guys watching for the new moon from different places across ancient Israel, and whoever saw it first would light a beacon on top of a mountain, just like in Lord of the Rings, and that would go all the way across the kingdom of Israel to tell people that this is the new moon festival. You should keep it. You should gather, worship the Lord. Um, so I think its application today for watching for the new moon, we should have guys all over watching for that first sliver, so we know when to celebrate his festival. And Jesus says his coming will be like that, like lightning is from east to the west, and that actually was also said of these beacons back in ancient Israel. So again, that points to the new moon, specifically, very very likely the Festival of Trumpets, the next festival Jesus will fulfill when he comes in the rapture. The last one being Pentecost, when he sent his Holy Spirit, um, which kicked off the age of grace. Okay, and let them serve as signs to mark sacred times and days and years, and let them be lights in the vault of the sky to give light on the earth. And it was so. God made two great lights, a greater light to govern the day, a lesser light to govern the night. He also made the stars. God set, so again, nothing about planets out there. No, he made the sun, the moon, and the stars, and the earth. But there aren't any other planets out there. So somebody gives me proof. No. He also made the stars. God set them in the vault of the sky to give light on the earth, to govern the day and the night, and to separate light from darkness. And God saw that it was good. There was evening and there was morning, the fourth day. So again, what's interesting is in the beginning, there was no sun and no moon. Not until the fourth day did God create these. So the light and the darkness, those were coming from God himself. And he says after, I don't know if it's during the millennial period or if it's afterwards, once we're into eternity, um, but God himself will be the light. There will be no sun. He himself is light. I don't think it'll ever be dark either. So I think, in a sense, by him creating night, he's almost like he's showing us the difference between light and darkness, righteousness and sin. You know, people are scared at night, but during the day, you know, light is shining and people can see what's going on. But at night, things can be concealed, and so it is with sin. And God said, "Let the water teem with living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the vault of the sky." So God created the great creatures of the sea and every living thing which was in the water, with which the water teems and that moves about in it, according to their kinds, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. God blessed them and said, "Be fruitful and increase in number, and fill the waters in the seas, and let the birds increase on the earth." And there was evening and there was morning, the fifth day. And God said, "Let the land produce living creatures according to their kinds, the livestock, the creatures that move along the ground, and the wild animals, each according to its kind." And it was so. So from the beginning, God created livestock, domesticated animals, cows, sheep, pigs, chickens. Uh, pigs are unclean. His people do not eat pork. But there's none of this evolution. No, he created wild animals and domestic or domestic animals or livestock. And God said, "Let us make mankind in our image." So this is the last thing that God does. His final work on the sixth day after creating the land animals. He creates man. He says, "In our likeness, in our image." So that's plural. That means Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. So that they may rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, over the livestock and all the wild animals, and over all the creatures that move along the ground. So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. God blessed them and said to them, "Be fruitful and increase in number." So, again, he's against birth control. He says, "Be fruitful." He says in Psalm 127, "Children are a heritage from the Lord." For a man, they're like arrows in the quiver of a hunter. Like, if a man is taken to court, he's never put to shame, because his children, their heritage, their blessing from the Lord. And any man who fears the Lord, that's one of the blessings that God bestows upon him. And Psalm 128 says that the man who fears the Lord, his children shall be like olive shoots around his table. Then God said, I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food. It's all the beasts of the earth, and all the birds in the sky, and all the creatures that move along the ground, everything that has the breath of life in it. I give every green plant for food. And it was so. So God, there was no death when God created the earth in 6 days. Because man and the animals and woman, they were told to eat the green plants and fruit. They were not eating one another. But it was after that, it was after, actually, I believe it was after the flood that Noah and his sons were told that they were allowed to eat animals as well. But Noah knew the difference when he boarded all these animals onto the ark, the difference between clean and unclean animals. He took 7 pairs of clean animals and just 1 pair of unclean. And the Lord actually brought these animals to him. I've had deer and other animals like literally walk up to me, like they're not afraid of me at all. It's because they know that the Lord lives in me and I'm not going to hurt them. And I've heard stories of other believers like having the same thing happen to them. God saw all that He had made, and it was very good. And there was evening and there was morning, the 6th day. Thus the heavens and the earth were completed in all their vast array. And I'll go on with Genesis 2 the next time. The Lord bless you and keep you.